growing up, one of the three, I was the oldest, and so with that, I definitely got a lot more responsibility than my other siblings would. And when learning about this class and then learning about leadership, I came to thinking, is leadership something that is you're born into? You have a culture where you're expected to be a leader whereas others aren't? Or is leadership something that you can evolve into? Maybe you were someone who nobody really thought you would or could be a leader, but you eventually became a leader due to your circumstances. Hi, my name is Nicole Garrett, and in today's video, I'm going to be discussing my interview that I had with Dr. Garrett, who became a leader. So, a little back history is that, yes, he is my father, but yes, I've had to work with him as well through his office. And so with this, I saw how he is a leader for his company. Growing up, he's one of 6 children, and he's the youngest of those. So of those siblings, there was a lot of leadership that happened, but none of it was ever really towards him. He could never really be a leader in a situation where everyone wanted to be leaders. It was more after college that he learned what a good leader was. This was due to the fact that after he graduated and became a doctor, he then began to work for his boss. His boss, who is Dr. Connors, was one of the greatest leaders that Dr. Garrett says he's ever met. It was something that he was very successful in being able to manage and lead his team in a way where they expanded to over 10 offices within the state of Arizona, which was very successful. The thing, though, is that Dr. Garrett states that he learned his leadership from Dr. Connors. However, it wasn't until a tragic accident with the passing of Dr. Connors that he had to step up. Because all throughout this time, when Dr. Connors was a leader, it's great. He had a good leader, a good person to look up to, but there wasn't really an edge to push Dr. Garrett to become a leader. And that wasn't until the passing of Dr. Connors. After that happened, there was a lot of separation within the company, and it gave Dr. Garrett the ability to move forward and expand his own practice. And so with that, he states that at the beginning, he was very much a leader that he didn't know how to lead, just because he knew how to be led, but taking that into his own personal experiences within his own practice, it was a difficult transition. And through years and years of learning how to properly run his own practice, he was able to become a better leader that he is today. And he states that, and I didn't even bring this term up, but he states that he was more or less more of a laissez-faire leader back in the day before Dr. Connors passed, just because within his own team of people, he knew that Dr. Connors was always going to be the main leader, and so it really didn't push him to become more of a democratic leader, per se. And so I think that's a great example, just because there are many times when, personally, we have to step up and become leaders, even though it could be uncomfortable at first, and we sometimes don't know how to do it at that moment. But I believe now, after having this interview, it's not so much about, being born first of the many siblings that you could have, or being born last, but it's definitely, leadership is something that can be learned within the concept of needing a leader, becoming that leader, and knowing how to be successful leading people with that. And it's very, very important to understand that, for me, not all leaders are born, and yes, that they are made. And it's through educating oneself as well as surrounding themselves with people who are good leaders, who have that mentorship, who are able to give that to you, that's how you'll be able to grow into becoming a better leader, as well as putting yourself in the position to become a good leader. Because I know that many times I've been able to be a good leader, but I don't sometimes push myself to be put in the spot as a leader, just because either I can be shy or something like that. But Dr. Garrett really gives a good example as to sometimes you just got to be put into the seat of leadership and just learn and become a better leader instead of just waiting for the right time to become a good leader. Because at the end of the day, I don't think there ever will be a right time to be a good leader. Instead, it has to be someone who's just going to step on in, learn to go with it, and then learn what works, what doesn't work, learning about how to deal with people who could be in conflict with you, having the communication skills, as well as being organized and within the company and then within yourself to learn how to communicate and lead the people that you were supposed to be leading. So I had a great interview with Dr. Garrett, and I learned a lot just because not only he's my dad, but I took it more a perspective of professionalism, just because I know many times there are leaders who aren't the best leaders, and there are people who could be good leaders, and there's kind of like a bridge that needs to be drawn between that, whether if they're not the best leaders grow and learn and educate themselves on how to become a good leader, or the people who aren't leaders yet, but how to, again, educate themselves, grow, and even be put in that position to be a good leader. Alrighty, thank you so much, and I appreciate it, and I look forward to reading your comments.